Hi folks, it's Meandering Mike here in the Mad Cave of Madness. It's before midnight tonight. We're working on game turn 11 of Maharaja. I'm probably not going to do the full turn, but I do want to talk about a few things. We do have introduced the first of the colonial powers. The Dutch are going to be showing up this turn, so I want to cover some of those rules. I also wanted to talk about a few things. Again, as we do, we have little errors creep in from time to time. One of the things that we forgot about that I had mentioned before was that the Rajputs could submit. They can submit if they're down to 2 or less armies in northern India. They have one army in the Himalayas and one here. So when they were getting pounded on before, they could have submit. They probably should have, but they didn't. I'm not going to roll that back. They're going to be at the one there, but they could submit now. Also, the poor missing Pandyas. They're one of the ones on the list that could submit in southern India, and I should have. I'm not going to roll that back either. We'll just live and learn. But something very important to remember, which if you're playing like a normal 4-player game or something, you're much more likely to remember your guys, if they can submit or not. And if you might not remember that, maybe make yourself a sticky note or something, or you could highlight the cards. Anybody who can submit, like here, for example, the Sinhalese, you could take a highlighter of that card. Now, most people don't like to mark up their cards and stuff, but if you're going to play a game a lot, it might be nice to put a little asterisk there, a star, an underline, something. So, anyway, that's some things that we're not going to correct, but we're going to remember for the future, or at least attempt to remember. So, coming in on turn 11, we have 2 Portuguese in the Arabian Sea. Colonial powers always arrive in a sea area. Colonial powers can move 3 spaces, unlike 2 for the typical Indian nationalities. They also are only hit on the die roll of a 6 when they're in battle, and they get to add +1 to their dice. So they are extra powerful in combat. One other advantage of the colonials is that they can build factories on the coasts, and they can give colonial arms, to Indian nations who are willing to be friendly with them, or who are forced friendly by submission or alliance. Now, not all of the coast can build factories. Of the 15 coastal squares, and you don't count Persia or Burma because those are foreign areas, but there's 15 coastal areas, and they didn't mark it, but it's kind of easy to remember. The endpoints: Baluchistan cannot have a factory. And the other endpoint here, Assam, cannot have factories. And then form the tip way down here, southern Simhala cannot. So that's kind of easy to remember. The 3 corners of the triangle, they cannot build factories. So the factory phase comes after the movement and combat. The power, the colonial power, to build a factory must have an army in the adjacent sea area. And one of those eligible coastal areas must be quote unquote friendly. To be friendly, there either has to be an allied or submitted Indian army in the square, or permission of the owner, whoever's in there. They don't have to be, might not be conquered. They say, hey, what, you want this? You want colonial arms? Colonial arms act kind of like a leader, that they get you, can add +1 to the die roll. Boy, and they might even let you move 3 also. That seems a little odd. The arms would actually let you go. The effect. Why am I not seeing it? You know, it's probably one of those cases where the confers the same movement and battle advantage as a leader. There it is. And if you have a leader and a colonial arms marker in the same square, you could actually add +2 to your die roll. Wow, that's not too powerful. Now, the issues about colonial arms is that there has to be a factory sharing a square with that Indian nation, and then the colonial power can grant them that nationality a colonial arms. The colonial arms is not actually placed on the board until that nation's population increase of their next turn, but that allows them to put it anywhere. So that's nice and flexible. If, however, that nation no longer has at least one factory somewhere that they share a space with, they would immediately lose the colonial arms. And if the colonial power that granted them the colonial arms doesn't have any arms anywhere on the land in India, they also lose it. That's on the kind of complex, can't remember all that, but we'll figure that as we go along. But that does mean in the middle of a battle, in a turn, if you've got one area that's got the arms and another area, say, that's got that factory, that's the only factory, you could move into both areas of attack. You could hit that factory first, destroy it, and the other guys would lose their colonial arms, and they wouldn't get the benefit in the other square. All right, so colonial powers can stay and move back at it. See, they can move 3, including moving like up to 2 sea areas and then moving into land, or go from land out one sea area, move another sea area, and then land again. So quite flexible, coming and going. They don't grow any population though. So they each of the nations gets colonial armies coming on. Like here's the Dutch, the Portuguese, the British can have up to 6. The other colonial powers have no more than 3. If we look here on this chart here, you can see 3, 3, 3 max, and 8. I mentioned before that the Dutch, I could only spot 2 armies coming on the list, so I gave them another turn for that to make sense. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Again, I said I probably won't play the entire turn. Last time we took over an hour and 20 minutes to do the turn. We've already got the Portuguese here. We've got Mughal troops, 8 new guys plus a leader here in Central Asia. This is a special turn for them, turn 11. Anytime during the turn, no, Mughals, Mughals. Right there, turn 11. If they occupy Delhi at any time, bam, 4 points. Even if then they lose it. Now, the Mughals, this turn 11, they're going next to last. The Portuguese, which are friendly green, are the only one moving after them. So, it's kind of weird. If they take Delhi, I suppose they could move through an empty Delhi and say they've got it and then move on and attack elsewhere. So I guess that wording of at any time during the turn makes sense. But all right, so let's do this. So we've got no Pandyas because we limited them. The Greeks are gone. No Afghans yet. Marathas. Now Marathas are going to start moving towards the north because their points are going to be more and more northern focused as it goes by. If you look here, especially at turn 14, each area in North India, 3 points. So it's only turn 11 now, but they're going to want to start oozing their way into North India. And they've already got some spread out here, but they're going to sort of want to get out of the way, partly because of the Muslims, which they're friendly with because the same player blue. The Muslims stop getting pop growth outside of South India starting next turn. So the Muslims can get growth anywhere this turn, but turn 12 up to the game only in South India. So they're going to want to get themselves in there if they want to keep getting more armies. So there needs to be a weird little dance between the Muslims and the Marathas to try to switcheroo some locations here. Yeah. So Marathas get points. Let's see, the next point scoring turn for them is 13. And they already occupy almost all of these areas right now. But they get one for each other. So the more they can get to the north, the better for them. Marathas, in terms of growth, they have one army not on the board, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11. Yes, they have a max of 12. So they get their one. They've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pop growth. So they only need 2 to actually grow the army. So they're going to be at the max 2.5 because they have excess left over, but you can't store more than 2.5. So they're going to get 1. And let's see, Marathas, they still have point. They could try to destroy Mughal armies. British turn around that. I'll guarantee on. Who is? That's Timur. All right. So they cannot get any points yet other than beating on Mughals, but the Mughals are way up there. They can't reach them. They're not going to try, but as the Mughals comes out, but Mughals are running straight into the Muslims. So that's going to be a big brawl there. But the Muslims get to move before the Mughals. So who knows how the Muslims are going to want to react, what they're going to do. All right, so now we're going to run into an issue here. If the if the Maharathas are going to try to say penetrate into Baluchistan and the Sindh, the Rajputs are probably going to submit. They don't want to get beat on, right? And so that was a question back in the submission rules. What actually happens when? Because you can submit, I believe it says at any time, may immediately submit. All right. Rajputs, 2 or fewer in North India. They are may be declared after battle finishes or any round of dice throwing or after any movement phase. Okay, so not during the movement phase. So that means the Marathas could overrun this square to get into here, and then the Rajputs, after the end of the movement phase, could submit, and then I believe the Marathas would retreat back out of the Sindh, but at least they could get up to this other territory and start to wheel themselves around. The Marathas don't score points for Rajputana, so they can abandon that and get out of there. Mysore, no, they don't have Mysore anymore, so they can abandon the south where they were very annoying for a turn there and caused issues. So Bijapur, Mysore, so they still want to hold these 2, but they can get out of any and all of this, keeping by Bijapur. Right now, if they don't lose any armies, they had anything more to grow, so they can willingly get out of the area. Now, they could try to fight down here to pick on these guys if they wanted to. That seems like a little silliness. Let's do our thing here. Let's move 1, 2. 1, 2. We're now penetrating through. All right. We want to... we need to keep someone in Malwa. Bijapur. Wow, what do they want to do here? They want to start to let the Muslims into some of this here. Wow. Maybe they let the Muslims go through Malwa. They don't sit in Malwa right now. Let them in there. Might have been able to do this a little better, a different way. But, yeah. All right. We're going to scooch over, start to leave some space. Do we want to do that in Malwa now? Do we let the... Yeah, the Muslims can start to come down. Get into that. But if you don't let them in here soon, then they can get into the interior more. Yeah, I think they'll stay in Rajputana for now. Get a little out of the way of Malwa, and then they're... Again, the blue player, 2 blue nations, you're cooperating. One could say, would they really do that as 2 nations? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe we're doing some diplomatic deals, something. Who knows? All right. So, end of the movement phase. The Rajput said, yeah, I don't even want to do 1 round of combat. You could spank me there and kill my army, and I'd have nothing left there except for this poor guy, and never get to grow. Did I? No, Rajputs are there. So they are going to get a turn. So they're going to submit, and I'm 90% certain, if I remember correctly, the attacking nation has to leave. Oh boy, submission. Attacking nation which cannot refuse submission cannot thereafter attack for the remainder of the turn. Any attacking armies on the territory must leave immediately either to the areas from which they came or to an area wholly occupied by the attacking nation. So this is a case where the battle isn't happening. Normally when the battle happens and you retreat from battle, in Maharaja, the attacker must retreat back to province or provinces that they came from, where they moved in from. In this case, since it's a submission, we can leave. At this point, we could actually have one go over to Baluchistan and then have this guy say retreat. They'll only leave 1 in Rajputana. There's these pesky Portuguese here. They might want to defend these coast lines better. Yeah, that's the ticket. There you go. Okay. So that's the Marathas. Cholas. Now, if you remember, the Cholas don't grow anymore. The Cholas have their 2 guys here. No population growth. They're after turn 10. It's turn 11 now. South India or Ceylon, they can get points in the future. Now, if they jumped here onto Ceylon and the Sinhalese would probably submit there, which would force them to retreat back. So that would kind of be a null thing. They could jump over here and try to pound on this guy for being mean to them. They're not getting anything. They can't grow. They could just hang out in Mysore. They can't get any bonus points for it, but maybe they could prevent someone else from getting more. Future turns, the Sinhalese don't get points for Mysore. The Maharathas could only get 1 point for it, but they're already backing out. You know, the Muslims, they can get points for South India, but that's it. So I don't think anyone gets any special points anymore for Mysore. So that's not anything special anymore. I'm feeling a little grumbly, angry. They're going to seek revenge. They're going to go to attack. Why not? Let's do it. Get a little action. So 2 attacking dice, 1 defending dice. Boom, boom. Miss all over. Sinhalese, they want to be able to grow. They can still grow. Sinhalese always keep getting their growth points. They're at 2. They potentially could get 3, 2.5. They could get close to the point where they could get two armies in a turn, potentially. So yeah, they're going to retreat. No reason to sit there and fight. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Done. Keep going. Cholas, Maharaja, Gone, Harpins, Sinhalese. There we go. So 1, 2, 2.5. So they're going to have 1.5 left after growing an army. Sinhalese. They're going to put it here so they can move that here. Do they want to stay in Malabar or move to Mysore to be next to? Yeah, it's kind of, well, let's see. Maybe if they leave an open spot for the Portuguese, they'll be less likely to be attacked. The Portuguese might eye this square. The Portuguese know that if they go after the Sind, well, okay, that's something about the factories. You don't have to have, a guy on land to build a factory. You have to have a colonial power at sea next to it. And maybe the Raj would say, well, sure, build me a factory. I'll take that factory in my square. It helps defend me a little better, and maybe you'll give me arms, So, yeah, let's do that. Let's don't know what we're doing there. These guys are not necessarily going to denude that. Well, no, I am. Maybe they'll come there and say, Portuguese may attack, Portuguese may not. Don't know. All right. Bump, bump, bump. Oh, there's something else. The British have some special rules about British allies. There's not the British. The British are over here. The purple guys that are coming. But a colonial power, the British, they have a special alliance rules that if a power submits to the British, they must also become a British ally. Any other nation can elect to become an ally of the British by sacrificing either one army, and they give it to the British to put in the British alliance box to show that they're now a British ally, or they may sacrifice their ability to grow population and take it out of the square and put that here to show that they're a thing. If you're already at the point where you can't grow population anymore, I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can sacrifice your marker. So you're going to have to sacrifice an army. So like the Cholas would have to sacrifice an army to become a British ally, whereas someone like the Sinhalese could I'm not going to grow anymore. That seems highly unlikely. The Ramathas might do that to say, hey, I'm big. I want to be a British ally. I don't want the British pounding on me. I'm already at max. Maybe I give up my growth potential. Or not. But that's just yet another chrome rule for the colonial powers, specifically the British. All right, keep going. Sinhalese, Sikhs. Here we are at the Rajputs. The Rajputs do grow. They have 1.5 points. They're at 2.5. So they will end up with 1 left, getting their army. Rajput. Boy, oh boy, what do they want to do? Now, Rajputs, do you get points still? 2 points for each Muslim army destroyed. And they can actually play a little risky because, if they attack and they lose an army, they're weaker, but they can always submit. That this ability to submit and then still take your pop growth and do that's very different than in Britannia, and I think it's kind of abusable, as we're going to see here. But as the rule is written, so let's go ahead and play it for now, and we can consider that later. Rajputs point-wise turn 12. They're actually special points for them. Agra or Delhi. Delhi's here, Agra's there. So they do want to move this direction. Not that they'll ever hold those, but if they get into them with their guys, they can submit and hold those. So yeah, that sounds like a plan. So this guy's actually going to come out of the Himalayas and come to Agra and give that a try. All right, let's do this one first. 2 attackers, 1 defender. Boom, boom. So the Muslim gets killed. The Rajputs are feeling good about themselves, even though they're kind of weak. So 1-on-1 here in Agra. No. So they did get poundilated. Now, so in the middle of battle, you can say, no, stop, I'm going to submit, because we're down to 2 areas. They were attacking. They elected to attack. They could have changed their mind after this last battle and say, wait, I'm going to submit now. That's actually weird. And this guy would have actually had to retreat. That sounds funny. I'll have to reread that. That really sounds abusable. I'm attacking, but now I'm submitting and forced the guy to retreat. Well, we stayed, we fought, we lost. Rajput lost the guy, but they did take Rajputana, and they're going to get 2 more points yet again for killing Muslims. Bum. Rajput scooped the gun, the Muslims. All right. Was there anything special about... Okay, so yeah, starting next turn 12, they only get to grow in South India, population-wise. So this is their last free growth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 7 total. So they get 2 armies and have 1 change left. And they want to get their butts down here into... Yeah, they didn't move out of there yet, but they're in Malwa. So So it looks like the only place they can get to in southern India is this one here. Yeah. Well, see, here's another trick that you can play. We're gonna do this. Wow. Okay. Oh, beginning of the turn, the leader goes. No. There wasn't anything special about... Now, the Mughal leader, Timur, is coming on this turn, and he is going to be removed with 2 armies at the end of the Mughal turn. Boy, who actually has boats? The Muslims have boats. Oh, yeah, yeah. If they had moved south earlier, might have made more sense, but they didn't. Wow, do they want to get out of the Mughals' way? They don't get any points until turn 13. Berar, Bidar, Bijapur. Wow. So again, Berar is here, southern India. Bidar. Is it Bidar or Bihar? Bidar. Wow. All right. I am not familiar enough with all these places. Bidar. Golconda. Way down here. Wow. So they got a few turns to get down there, but yeah, big points going south. They're turn 15, they still get points from north. It's weird. I'm going to have to read up on this history, guys. This is just really weird and bizarre. What's going on in the world at this time here? Again, this is turn 11. This is in 1300 to 1500. There's some interesting stuff going on here. But what we're going to do is we're going to attack. The Muslims are going to attack the Marathas. And the idea is, after the first round of combat, the Marathas will retreat, letting the Muslims in. That's the plan. Which you can do those kind of agreements in a normal game, with other players of other colors. But here's something you can do easily with your own nations. You still have to do the battle. That's required, at least one round of battle. But then once out of there, can retreat as needed. Boy, it's not a major invasion, but that leader can move 3. They can just run. They can run. Well, they can run 2 squares. And I guess, yeah, we figured out that this is next to this. So they can come back this way. This guy can come down here. Still, he doesn't get as far south as we want to. But, wow. Maybe they try to make a stand in Delhi. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, the leader can get to Delhi. Maybe they leave some behind. They Mughals do not get points for killing anything other than leaders. Muslims do not get any kill points for anything other than leaders. They do get points for killing Timur. So that means if they stand and defend against Timur, and kill enough armies, yeah, let's see here. Is this going to happen? That's also Muslims. Get out of Punjab. Well, I'm trying to, like, make them leave 2 behind as a screen. If they want to overrun and come in. They don't want to lose too many guys. But yeah, there's... Yeah, I don't think I want to... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The Muslims have... Wait a minute. What's this over here? Wow. All right. Somehow we messed up earlier and got a Muslim army. Oh, no. Oh, no. What the heck happened there? How did that happen? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The Marathas. Oh, my goodness. What did we do? The Rajputs. Those are Marathas, not... Oh, my God. We wouldn't have done that. Wow. Boy, did we really mess up. Did we really mess up? Yeah, there's no way. I'm gonna go ahead and rewind this now. That was Muslim. They would have attacked their Rajput. Yeah, let's see. Let's say they attacked in Punjab. Oh my goodness, I really messed that up. Pay attention, buddy boy. Yeah, the Rajputs were here. They retreated to here. They'd run 1 through. They retreated 1 here. They retreated 1 back here. What did I grab? Whoa! What I must have moved. Yeah, I did something really, really flaky. I'm gonna give the Rajputs they killed a Muslim. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The Marathas had their 12 max armies. They didn't lose anything. Those are on the board. The Muslims lost that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There was a battle. They retreated. They killed. I assume 1 other one retreated. Yeah. So let's go back. Let's rewind a little bit. What a mess, folks. What a mess. What a mess. But we'll do the best that we can here and rewind off of that. Okay. So they're trying to keep him out of Delhi. That seems like a semi-reasonable thing to do. Semi-reasonable. Well, I really should rewind. I should go back to the beginning of this video, figure out what to do and do that. But boy, that sounds like a mess. Let's finish up this Muslim turn here. Let's do that. They'll leave some guys there to defend. They'll put a couple there. Wow. Okay. Pay better attention. This is the problem with these 2 big, large armies right next to each other, the same guys. If the symbols were clear somehow, the if the text was bigger instead of colored images of the guys. I mean, these are more green and these are more red, but still, it's, you know, especially here at a distance, I'm reaching over, not paying enough attention. But so let's do this battle here. Muslims are attacking the Marathas. Okay. The brown, the defender hits on a 5 or 6. The Muslims only hit on a 6. Yep. They killed each other. Well, that's where that plan backfires. The hope was that they would both miss and Marathas could retreat, and the Muslims would get in there. And instead they just wasted armies. Yay, what fun. All right. Muslims. Mughals. All right. The Mughal turn here. It's not a major invasion. Wow. So they want Delhi. They want 4 points for Delhi. It's totally worth it. They're going to go in, and the leader can make it in. 1, 2, 2. They got their 4 guys there to overrun the 2. 2, 3, 4. I like to have at least not number by double. They got a guy. All right, this is problematic. 1, you can't have, oh boy, this is, they can only go in with 3. Because remember, the max normal limit in an area, a clear area, is 3. You can have 1 square that exceeds that. So this, if we want to overrun this square, that's 4. All right. Now, if Ladakh was next to Delhi, they could have gotten it because leaders can move, don't have to stop in the Highlands. Could have gone 1, 2, 3 and gone around this, but that definitely does not connect here to here. That's why those 2 connect there. You know, look at that, right? Okay, so this means they do have to take this risk. They're going in with just 3 armies against 2. They're getting +1, but that let's put 4 there. They spread it out a little bit. So 3, 7, 8, 9. They have 9. No, that's not right. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, they only have 9 total armies. They they have their 6 invasion. They had 3 on there. 9. This population only supports 8, but they're gonna assume they're gonna lose at least 1. Otherwise, they're gonna lose 1 from population growth. These guys, if this goes bad, need to retreat to here. So you want to do this fight first. You have to retreat to where you came from, but you can't retreat if there's a pending battle. That's why we do this fight here first. All right. 4 attackers. Whoa. And no, 3 attackers. No, yeah. I'm getting mixed up. This fight. We're doing this fight here. 4 attackers, 2 defenders, 4 black dice. 2, all need 5s or 6s. Whoa, total bloodbath. 2 deaths on each side. So there we go. We got 2 Muslims are being removed. 2 Mughals. Yeah, now this one here. 3 armies attacking, but getting a +1. 2 armies defending. This is worth 4 points if they can take it. All right, here we go. Boom, boom, boom. They would have hit anyway without the leader. So they took that. They spanked down the Muslims, took Delhi, gonna get their 4 points. 4 green. Whoa, excuse me. Sorry about that. Holding the camera. How long was I doing that, folks? Boy, I should delete this video and start over again. I'm not going to do that. We like to live with our warts and all. Good old Meandering Mike in the man cave of madness. Weird stuff happened here. We're 40 minutes in. We're going crazy. But they took that. They're going to get the 4 immediate points. The Portuguese are now going to go, I want to give the Portuguese a little thought. I'm going to start the next round with the Portuguese and then do the final point total So I'm going to end this video a little early. We're not going to get to the Portuguese. I'm going to reread those rules again about factories, about colonial arms, about British alliance. I mean, the British aren't here yet, but submission, all that stuff. I want to be a little more familiar with them. So we're going to stop it here. I'll do the Portuguese next turn, and we'll go into the next turn. So well, let's call it quit here at 40 minutes. Meandering Mike in the Man Cave of Madness, playing Maharaja, turn 11, lots of madness. All right? So take care, everyone. Ciao.